This is my third time coming to the Cameroon, and I am so excited. I find Cameroon to be such a fantastic place. Not only is it Africa in the miniature in terms of geography, but it's the Africa in the miniature of the history. In the Cameroon, there are the Taka people who are the indigenous people of Africa. There are people who trace their lineage from the Nile Valley, like the Bamaliki and the Taka and the Sawa. There are medieval kingdoms in the north, and there are enslavement plantations in the south. This is truly an incredible country, and I am so glad to be back here.
Sanjay. Mwinmu. Aban jebolan won. Abelimbi loma mwendi bedi mun jebolane on tone bele.
This trip has been full of surprises. My first surprise was when I went to what I thought was hear a lecture from Dr. Ducaye and found out that I was the lecturer and that all of his students were there to hear me, which was the first surprise. I came here 3 years ago with a group of women who were working with young schoolgirls and bringing female hygiene kits so that they could stay in school. But what I found was more than what I thought. I had read that the Cameroon was Africa in miniature in terms of the geography. That here in the Cameroons, you have the volcanoes, you have the rainforest, you have the desert, that all of Africa could be found here in the Cameroon. And that was exciting. But more exciting for me was I found that all of African history was here in Cameroon as well. That in the south, they are the Baka people, who were the indigenous people for Africa. And in fact, in Kemet, the Baka were highly valued. That if a pharaoh had a Baka in their court, they knew that their culture would prosper. And so it was amazing for me to see that the Baka were not dead people in a history book from far, far, far away, but were living people and were functioning still right now in 2017. And then I found out that not only did the Cameroon have the indigenous people, but it had people who traced their origins to the Nile Valley. And that amazed me, because again, people had told me that Nile Valley or Kemetic culture was dead. And I found here in the Cameroon, in the Sawa, in the Bamaliki, in the Tika, that Egyptian Kemetic society was alive in the architecture, in the language, in the practice, in the male-female relations. And then I went up north and found in Foban that medieval Africa existed, that the Islamic Africa existed, and that even though we can no longer go to Timbuktu and Mali because of the war, we can still study the culture of medieval Africa right here in the Cameroon. And then the second surprise, I think the biggest surprise was when I went to Bafoussam. When I went to Bafoussam, I had no expectations. I was just going to try to see if I could get some more information. And we were offered the opportunity to have a blessing, a cleansing. And so I never say no to anything, so I said yes indeed, but I had no idea what was involved with it. I had no idea that that blessing would require my walking 5 miles uphill through the sacred forest to the sacred waterfall in order to stand beneath the waterfall and be cleansed. And really and truly, I felt so proud of myself because my heart was beating. I thought I was going to have a heart attack walking up that hill, but I did it. And the water was so refreshing. And then we came back home and we got dressed in traditional costumes, and we were all made prince and princesses of Bafoussam. This is a story from ancient Egypt.
Ça, c'est une histoire de l'Égypte antique.
It is a story of truth and falsehood.
C'est une histoire de vérité et de fausseté.
Once upon a time, truth ruled the world.
Et c'était une fois la vérité régnait sur le monde.
And when truth ruled the world, everything was in balance.
Et lorsque la vérité gouvernait le monde, toutes choses étaient en équilibre.
No one was a stranger.
Personne n'était un étranger.
Everyone was a brother and sister.
Et tout le monde était un frère ou une sœur.
All the mothers were mothers of all the children.
Toutes les mamans étaient mamans pour tous les enfants.
All the fathers were the fathers of all the children.
Et tous les papas étaient les papas de tous les enfants.
When truth ruled the world, everything was in balance,
Lorsque la vérité gouvernait le monde,
In
tout était
harmony.
en équilibre, en harmonie,
and justice and righteousness ruled the world.
et la justice et l'équité gouvernaient le monde.
But truth had a brother named falsehood,
Mais la vérité avait un frère qui s'appelait fausseté.
and falsehood was very jealous of truth.
Et la fausseté était très jaloux de son frère vérité.
And so one day, truth was walking down the road,
Et ainsi, un jour, la vérité faisait chemin sur la route.
and falsehood hid behind a bush.
Et la fausseté s'est cachée dans le buisson.
And when truth walked by,
Et pendant que la vérité passait par là,
falsehood jumped out
et la fausseté a bondi
and tied truth's arms
sur la vérité. Il a attaché les mains,
and tied truth's legs
il a attaché les pieds
and threw truth into a hole.
et a pris la vérité et l'a jetée dans un fossé.
But before he threw truth into a hole,
Mais avant que la vérité ne tombe dans un
he
fossé,
took truth's clothes
avant qu'il ne jette la vérité dans un fossé, il a enlevé les vêtements de la vérité.
and falsehood put on the clothes of truth and disguised himself as truth.
Et la fausseté a mis les vêtements de la vérité et s'est déguisé en vérité.
But when falsehood took over the role of truth,
Mais lorsque la fausseté a pris contrôle sur le monde de la vérité,
the world turned upside down.
le monde a basculé en l'envers.
And no longer did brother love brother.
Et les frères n'étaient plus des frères.
No longer did sister love sister.
Plus jamais les sœurs s'aimaient entre elles.
No longer were men and women together in complementary relationships.
Plus jamais on ne voyait les hommes et les femmes en relation de
But
complémentarité.
everything became adversary.
Mais tout est devenu de l'adversité.
And people started fighting.
Et les gens ont commencé à bagarrer.
And they started fighting. Good people started fighting bad people.
Et les bonnes personnes ont commencé à combattre les personnes méchantes.
The world was all shattered.
Et le monde était divisé.
And things were divided.
Et les choses étaient en morceaux.
And tribes and populations that used to work together
Et les tribus et les populations qui avaient l'habitude de travailler ensemble
was at war.
étaient en guerre.
And people hated each other
Et les gens se détestaient les uns les autres.
and were divided
Ils étaient divisés
into rich and poor,
en des classes de riches et des classes de pauvres,
into high and low,
en des hautes classes et de basses classes.
and all the people started locking the doors.
Et les gens ont commencé à fermer les portes.
And as they locked the
Et
doors,
pendant qu'ils fermaient les portes,
they locked their hearts.
ils fermaient leur cœur.
And there was no order.
Il n'y avait plus d'ordre.
And everyone was sad.
Et tout le monde était triste.
It was a horrible, horrible world.
C'était un monde horrible et horrible.
But you cannot kill truth.
Mais vous ne pouvez pas tuer la vérité.
You cannot bury truth for a long
Vous ne
time
pouvez pas ensevelir la vérité pendant un long moment.
because the ancestors knew that truth had to be resurrected.
Parce que la réponse, disait que la vérité devrait ressusciter.
So they whispered in people's ears,
Donc ils chuchotaient aux oreilles des personnes.
there is another way of living.
Il y a une autre façon de vivre.
There's another way of harmony.
Il y a une autre façon d'être en harmonie.
And you must listen because a wise person will come
Et vous devez prêter l'oreille parce qu'une personne sage arrive.
and bring the people together.
Et elle va amener les gens ensemble.
And this wise person,
Et cette personne sage,
the ancestor said,
les ancêtres ont dit,
came from a place like this place.
elle viendra d'un endroit comme celui-ci.
And this wise person would be a man like that man.
Et cette personne sage sera
And this wise man, he came. He was a little boy.
Et cet sage homme est venu, il était un petit garçon,
But he knew he had a destiny.
mais il savait qu'il avait une destinée.
It was to bring all of the people together.
Cette destinée était de rassembler tout le peuple ensemble.
And so this little boy talked to his friends
Et ainsi, ce petit garçon a parlé à ses amis
and gathered around people who understood the importance of resurrecting truth.
et a rassemblé toutes les personnes qui comprenaient l'importance de ressusciter la vérité.
And so they searched for truth.
Et ainsi, ils se sont mis à la recherche de la vérité.
They searched in the mountains.
Ils ont cherché la vérité dans les montagnes,
They searched in the forest.
ils ont cherché la vérité dans les forêts,
They searched in the sacred lakes.
ils ont cherché la vérité dans les lacs secrets.
And they found truth.
Ils ont trouvé la vérité,
And they resurrected truth.
ils ont ressuscité la vérité,
And they brought truth into the land.
ils ont amené la vérité sur le territoire,
And they brought truth into this place.
ils ont amené la vérité à cet endroit.
And as you look around and see your brothers and sisters, you can see the face of truth in their
Et
faces.
lorsque tu te retournes, tu vois tes frères et tes sœurs, tu peux voir le visage de la vérité.
And falsehood could not stand
Et la fausseté ne pouvait plus tenir.
the faces of people working together.
Les visages des personnes travaillant ensemble.
The faces of people united in unity.
Les faces des visages des personnes étaient unies.
And so falsehood was revealed as not being true, and truth rose from the ground.
Et ainsi, la fausseté a enlevé ses vêtements de vérité et la vérité a surgi de la terre.
And is in this place,
Et elle est à cet endroit,
in each person here,
dans chacune des personnes ici présentes
and in the generations to follow.
et à la génération à venir.
Ashe, 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 That's a true story. This trip has been an affirmation. It was an affirmation that this was a place that I was connected to, that this was a place that I was given the opportunity to be rooted in, that this was a place where I was able to reconnect. And so I felt empowered. I felt ennobled, empowered, informed, transformed, and welcome. And it was beautiful because everywhere I went, people said, "We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you. Welcome home."
Repeat after me the cry by which you call the mermaids and ancestors. Aye-oo! 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 Valérie. Nyongonu. Son. Amengu. Anjiba. Nyoka sa. Nyoka kanumba. Tengenumba. Nabina lotondimo. get some and rub your hands. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone in turn.
Get a little and rub your hands. And then after you're going to pass it back to us.
Sonny, ulama bosangi. Ulama bosangi ebanjangi basunye ndenya bosangi. Just a drop will do.
Okay.
Yes, you use it as you see me use it. With this same oil, you don't use much of this oil. Yes, yes. Right. Okay. Okay. Yes, she is the only one who, for some very precise reasons, will get a name, a mermaid name today.
Oh.
Yeah, you are Django. There's no more mermaid than you. Okay. From today are called Limuna Bengwani. Say it.
Namunda Bengwani.
Limuna.
Say Limuna.
Limuna Bengwani.
Lemuna Bengwani. Bengwani. Bengwani.
Yes. Limuna Bengwani.
Lemuna Bengwani.
I will write it down for you so that you won't forget. You have no choice. From now on, you are Limuna Bengwani.
Indicative of my renewal on this trip, I was given 3 different names. First, when I was in Douala and I was talking with Professor Valet, he looked at me and he said, I need to name you. And so we went to Bimbia, and instead of doing a libation, we did a blessing, and he named me, and he made me, gave me a name that indicated that I was a daughter of the sea, that I was connected to the mermaids, that I was connected to the flow of time and energy. And then we went to another village, and the king looked at me and said, I want to give you a name. And the name he gave me was Mama Iposi, which means the chosen one. And then I got the name of being a daughter of Bafufan. And so if I put them all together, you know, I am she who has come across the sea. I am a chosen one, and I am a daughter of Bafufan. So yesterday you told me about the symbolic connections between the Nile Valley and the populations in Cameroon. Mm-hmm. Could you talk to me a little bit about the language? Mm-hmm. I mean, was there any like language retention or language continuity between the Nile Valley and tribes and or populations in the Cameroon?
Yeah, because myself, when I was a student in Paris, in l'école du Louvre, Royal School, where we teach him Egyptology, especially Medunati. I was surprising when I was in class because I saw this is in page of Egyptian grammar. You know, it's the best grammar made by 30 people who said 70 know about linguistic and language in Kemetic language. But it's very funny to see that in the beginning of this page we have this one is hieroglyphics. This is the transliteration. So that the sound they give to that, and this is the translating. They translate. So when we see in terms of classical Egyptology, they say uben re empet. Yes. But if I took that in my languages, I say uben way moin pete. Right? It's give the sun rises in the sky.
Right.
I think he is that way. I say, oh, but maybe it's impossible that, but yeah, he said uben, but it's a uben doesn't mean the sun rises in the sky. Exactly like transliteration and my son. I go even forward. They say re empet. That is a classical, but if I say in my language, I say re mon pete, it gives the same. The sun is in the sky. The sun in the sky.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So that means, because transliteration is in Egyptian, because they have about 42 provinces.
Okay.
So they have to unify all these what they call languages. Like it's in Cameroon, though, the people speak, we think we speak many languages, but in reality we speak one language.
Okay.
So the scribe, they will have to unify all this sound, and they give what called transliteration. So, but transliteration is only in consonant. They don't use vowels.
Right.
So you can give your vowels, like in Cameroon, in Douala, you say moto. This means men. Moto. But if moto, but if I say mot, also men. So I just write M and T. If you read moto, if you see MT, you read moto. If I say MT, but for me, and after the why we go to call it determination, they put another sign to see what I speak by MT is mean human being. We go to see that. Also, continue. In the beginning, we have other things here.
Right. The baboon is also
It's taught. Taught you have different way. Baboon or ibis.
Ibis. Okay. Yes, taught is also the baboon. Okay.
I have no tips for sapiens here, but so this is sapiens.
Okay, that's sapiens. Right. That's right. Okay.
Right. So this is where you move from left, right, and back. Every African name.
Okay.
Also the kemet. And the kemet, the pharaoh have two caskets. What is casket?
Two crowns.
Two crowns.
Right. Right, the white.
Red and white.
Right. One is inside the other. Right.
They have two crowns. One is red. And one is white. In the black skin.
Right. I think the last gift and the greatest gift I got while I was here in Cameroon was a reaffirmation of my purpose and my goals. I understand that what I must do for the next 10 years is to tell the story of disconnection and reconnection. That what I must do is do my part in restoring truth from the grasp of falsehood. And so being given a name, being given a purpose, being given a direction, giving an assignment, I think is the most sacred activity that one can be given. I've been blessed. I guess that's all I can say. I've been blessed. When I was here last time, I fell into an anthill. And I left Bimbia bleeding, naked, and I was told that it was kind of an initiation, that the ancestors had initiated me. And I realized that they were testing me to see whether or not I would return. And I did return. I did not let that stop me. Just like I didn't let walking 5 miles up a mountain and then 3 miles through bush and sticky bushes stop me. And so I understand, I understand that when you are spiritually grounded, when you are grounded in the earth and you're grounded in the ancestors, you can be resilient. You can succeed and do things against all odds. So I'm leaving here with not only a different sense of self, but a real appreciation for my ancestral blessings and for the marvelous people I met who helped me along the way.